Thank you for joining Fretsisters Presents Between Frets, a space where female musicians who played string instruments meet and discuss all things music. I'm your host, Jenny Jam, and this is actually a special episode that we do every so often. It's called Fret Tea Talk, and it's a roundtable with the founders. Today we have all four of the founders, and we decided to all get together because we wanted to talk about episode, or actually a special film that just came out on Netflix. Of course, everybody knows what we'll probably talk about. But let me introduce the founders that are with me. Okay, we have LaCole Rose.
Hello, hello.
Say hello. Hey. And we have Karen Smith.
Hello there.
And Shorn Marshall. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's good?
All right. So yeah, this is just like a last minute thing. We're like talking about Homecoming, Beyonce's film on Netflix, which is basically talks or shows her Coachella performance, as well as some behind the scenes and commentary from Beyonce herself. So it's a big thing. Everybody's talking about it. So why not, right? So so our homework this week was to watch it and talk about it. I saw it a couple days ago. And I was watching it. I was changing my guitar strings, setting up my laptop, drinking a beer, and watching it. So that was how I kind of like got into it. So what about you guys?
Well, I came in from the studio, and last night I watched it. A very good documentary. I applaud her that for her competitive zeal, her career. She's amazing. And once we get into the topic, I'll elaborate more on the commentary.
Mm-hmm. I know, Shorn, you saw it.
Yeah, I saw it when it first came out, and it gave me life.
It gave you, all right.
It gave me life. I was in there, on my day off, just watching it, and I was in here just watching the whole performance and everything, and I was like, and then she was talking about the diet thing. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
If I could do the same diet as she was, I would have been skinny as her.
I don't know, when she talked about that diet, she mentioned, like, she didn't get too much into it, which I felt like I wish she would have gotten a little bit more into it. She could sell stuff if she wanted to, like, but I feel like I was like, really, like, she had nothing, like next to nothing. She was like, I was pretty much starving myself, and I'm thinking that's not really a good thing.
Right.
Like,
she pretty much was raw vegan. Like for the past few years now, she's been, promoting being vegan. But on this thing, it looks like she went raw vegan, which is pretty much fruits and vegetables and nuts, and you don't cook anything. That's pretty much all that is.
Right.
And that's rough.
And plus, she was working out.
Yeah, what is that, rabbit food?
No, well, remember, she was also working out, heavy working out.
Yes, she was.
For hours, and dancing, and with her children. And she said she was hungry. She was literally just eating raw food for, I guess, months in order to lose all the weight and to get the strength back, to do the choreography and the dancing. So that was grueling. I don't think that's something she would have to sell, because there's plenty of diets on the market like that, but it's not a healthy one. She was doing it for that purpose, because it was fast. But to eat like that and and not have any nutrition. Remember, she's a star. She has help. She has a dietitian. She has people to cook for her, clean for her. So that's different from the everyday person. And then she has a gym, and she has a trainer. So that helps. But no, she's right. She was starving. She said she was starving.
But the thing is, like I said, I was vegan for a while, and I did the raw vegan for a while. And I was like skinny. That was like 6 years ago. The thing is, it is sustainable. But for her, when you're eating like that and you're working out how she is, of course it's not, because she's burning that off in 30 minutes.
Yeah, because I would think that if you're vigorously exercising, or with her it was dance routines and everything, like, you're burning a lot of calories, so you do want to eat like the protein and the, like, well, I don't know, like raw vegan, what you would compare, like meat would be your protein, and stuff like that. But what, was she eating what is it, cashews or something, like, don't they have, isn't that high in protein?
You still get your protein, like you get your chickpeas, you get your kale, like you still get your protein. You mix your nuts in and all that. So you still get your amount of protein with the raw vegan diet. People live, it's very sustainable. It's just if you're working out for 3 or 4 hours and you're dancing for another 10 hours, you're gonna burn it off like hell.
Yeah.
Well, with all that stuff, I might as well just make it as a smoothie, because eating it all raw all the time, I feel like I'm a rabbit. I might as well have something, eating grass or something, and just have it stir fried or something, because I can't handle that. I might as well make that a smoothie.
Yeah, well, remember, I'm vegetarian, and I was vegan for a little while, but I have protein shakes that are vegan, and so she can have the shakes. I think that eating the fruit, you want to chew. So she was eating apples and fruits of that. You can do it, but she was hungry because of the workout was so intense.
Workout.
It was so intense. So and then you're losing muscle. So to maintain muscle mass, you do need protein. But she did it. I mean, I applaud her. She really did an amazing job with being a mom. And I wanted to kind of segue to that, because not only is she working and she's the CEO of everything, and she's having meetings and she's dancing, she has to take care of her 3 children.
Yeah.
No, go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm just saying that she has to take breaks to hug and be with her children, and they're young.
And that's another thing, watching this thing, I didn't realize that she, sorry, I gotta tell my dog to shut up. I didn't realize that she just gave birth. Like it didn't dawn on me that, okay, the Coachella that she canceled, she was pregnant. I remember that when she was supposed to do Coachella, but she was pregnant, and it canceled. And then I didn't realize that that's the year she gave birth, that she decided that she was going to be doing it next year. And that's when they were doing the planning, like right after she gave birth.
Right.
Like, I didn't realize all that. Like, and then I was like, oh, she had twins. Like, so many celebrities are having babies that I'm kind of losing, like, who's, who has what, like, who gave birth to a girl or a boy or twins. And I forgot that she had twins.
Yeah,
right.
Like as soon as she had the twins, she went to this rehearsal. So this rehearsal, what she said, was like 8 or 9 months. So the twins are steadily growing, and she's at the studio for 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
She's really not seeing them grow, So that's the dedication that I'm talking about.
Sure.
She's saying before she had the twins, she would work 15 hours a day, and she can't do that anymore. But judging by this documentary, maybe she worked 14 instead of 15, because she worked her tail off. You can't tell,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, I even, like, after watching this, or even before watching this, where everybody was talking about it, I was like, oh, I'm getting curious. So I went in, and did some research. And I mean, it was like 6 month, pretty much training and planning. And even, like, I think the musicians or the people who she selected, or the, whoever was, the 200, performers that were on stage with her, like, I think they came in the end of the year. So what was Coachella was 2018, her performance. So 2017, I think that's
when everyone.
Yeah, she gathered everyone, I think, like, towards the end of that year. And then they were pretty much rehearsals until Coachella, which actually is not a uncommon thing, because when I toured with Salt and Pepper back in the day, we did 3 months. We not performed, we rehearsed for 3 months, and a lot of this stuff was also included with the music video that we were involved in. It had a lot of choreography. But yeah, I mean, we did 3 months, but I mean, of course, our show wasn't, like Coachella. Her Coachella too was what, 2 hour and a 2 hour show?
It was a 2 hour show.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah. So,
and my thing is, I think she said she scouted. So she said for 4 months, it was just the vocals, the background vocals in the band. And then another 4 months, she had to go to a different side of the sound stage. And then she worked with the dancers. You know what I mean? So it was a total of 8 to 9 months. And maybe, but the thing is, for this performance, she still had to scout out all these HBCUs and pull the bands together. Because she said she had a hand in every dance or every costume, every piece.
Yes.
So this maybe was a full year. When she was pregnant, she may have been picking out people, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember, she has a team. However, she micromanages with that team because she has to know every breath, every step, every dance, every note. She is, on top of that. Everything goes through her, and that's a lot when she's, and she's a mother, yes, but she's not a 20-year-old mother. So she's older, and not that that's a bad thing at all. It's just that she has a child. I think their daughter Ivy, Blue Ivy. I think her daughter. What is she, about 7?
Yeah.
About 7 years old. All right, still a young girl, and then she has the twins, and she's performing. That's a lot. I commend her.
Yes.
To have 2 babies. I mean, not just one, but 2. Twins, and then to jump back on the stage within a year, get your body in shape and micromanage so many different departments. It's just amazing. She's phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I was just what you said, Nicole, about how she, was scouting, the different parts of, I guess, the performers that were on stage. So she had the regular female band, but then she had like the horn section, the drum line, the dancers, the singers, all that. I was reading who was, my whole thing when I saw this, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over, but when I first saw, I didn't see much of the Coachella performance, when it happened. I just saw like bits and pieces of it, but I was like, this is definitely different from a regular Beyonce show that, concert that she had before with her female band and stuff. So yes. I'm like, and the arrangements were a lot different. Now she had a different musical director back, before that, with the female band when she did, the big concerts then. But I was like, this is a different musical director because the music, the arrangements were killer. Like, yes. I'm like, oh my God. They were tight. Oh my so gosh. I was trying to look for who was a musical director. I found out that it wasn't the same one. I'm not sure it was a female, but the musical director before does the Black Girls Rock for BET and Beverly Bond. Okay. So it wasn't her that did Beyonce's, musical director for this Coachella. It was some guy. But then I also looked recently because the person that was involved with the drum line, who was hired by Beyonce to put the drum line together, was a person that put the drum line together for the movie, for Nick Cannon's movie.
Yeah,
oh, really?
And stuff.
Yeah.
And then he took that drum line. And that drum line is all, the Black universities, the guys from there. Yeah. And so he took that on the road, and then that was like, it became his thing. People were hiring him for that. So this same guy that put that drum line together for the movie drum line and all that, did the Beyonce thing, was the person that, he pretty much used most of his people for the drum line part of it. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know if who was the one that did those arrangements. There's one person. There has to be one person that actually wrote those arrangements and then like gave sheet music to like all like the violinists and the drum line part. Because she said that she had like different sections, different departments in that performance. So they were, it's just like a company. You have your drum line, you have your choreography department, you have your singer department, you have your string department, and blah, so on and so on.
See, and this right here, sorry to cut you off, but this right here is what, because everyone is like a Bey stan, a Beyonce, oh my gosh, and we really, in this generation, she is what Michael Jackson was to us and our parents, what the Beatles were. She is that, because you see people crying and fainting and everything. It's like, it's just the person. I didn't get it until I did see this Coachella performance. This is the first time I really I like Beyonce's music. It wasn't like, whatever. I knew she had some good music, but when I watched this last year, it opened my eyes because of the drum line, because of the HBC band, because I grew up in the band. I grew up going to Battle of the Bands. So that just like, that sound was like ingrained in me. I'm like, oh my God, she's doing something totally different. She's taking me back to my childhood. And that's what got me into Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I'm a super fan now, but now, especially with behind the scenes and seeing her work ethic, no one works like her. That's why she's at the top right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have people that put up a video on Instagram and they get 1 million likes, and then they go to a concert and they can't perform because all they have is that one video. This is a totally different thing. Beyonce works her butt off daily. It was you see behind the scenes. Even if you don't like her music, you don't like her, you have to respect the work ethic. You just have to.
Oh, definitely.
She's not new to the music business.
Oh,
she's been out she's been out about 20 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Prince, yes, Michael Jackson, sure. So they all have that same work ethic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although Michael Jackson and Prince have transitioned, they've moved on. They passed away. But they, again, if you look at how she works, she's very similar to Michael Jackson, Prince as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
To just name two of them. And I'm just going to plug this also, that BTS, the K-pop band.
Oh, I love them.
I love them.
Oh my gosh.
Now
They are so adorable.
no, listen.
I want to know who the choreographer is.
Their work ethic is the same.
Oh my gosh.
It's that they practice over 12 hours a day.
I'm not familiar. I'm gonna have to look them up. I'm not familiar.
Those K-pop bands, though. I'm telling you, I knew a guy. His name, you guys probably know him, because his name is Justin Lyons. He played. Do you guys know him? Because I know that we're like, yes. Okay,
he is awesome.
Look, I played with. I backed up. She came here. She comes to DC all the time, and I back up Vivian Green a lot.
Okay.
You know Vivian Green?
Yeah.
So, and I used to like be in the band to back her up.
Name drop.
Well, no. I'm just saying. That's where I met Justin, because Justin was her guitar player back then. So like we played together. It was like our first time, and I met him, and I was like, "Yo, dude, he was incredible." Well, he landed a gig with a K-pop band called Bang Bang, right?
Oh yes.
And, yep. But yeah, so he, it was just like that experience. Like he would talk about that experience being with like a K-pop band. I mean, they're like that. I mean, they got what? Stadium. Like,
they do. They feel stadium.
Right. In New York City, in Queens, where I grew up, Citi Field is where the New York Mets play baseball. These young men, they don't play at Madison Square Garden. They played at Citi Field, and they sold it out in 10 minutes.
Recently?
Yeah.
Last year, they sold it out in 10 minutes.
I'm telling you, man.
They go. They can only play stadiums. That's like the Rolling Stones. They play stadiums, garden. But these young men, they were recently, a couple of weeks ago, on SNL, and oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I know. Oh my God.
I'm gonna put this plug in for those who are listening. If nobody don't know what K-pop is, there is some Korean shows on Netflix, and I do watch them. Yes, I'm weird. They do have some dealing with like K-pop groups and stuff like that. So if you want to like take a look what that's about, there is some Korean shows. It is subtitled. You're not gonna understand the language. Yes, that's funny, but they subtitled. So to all the listeners.
But
I'm telling you, man, it's like that's an industry. That's like a manufactured industry that makes good money.
Yeah, and just watching them again, going back to Beyonce or. What their work ethic, I mean, their choreography, their vocals, their dancing, and that's what she does. And that's again what Michael did, and Prince, just to name the people that had great choreography, vocals, musicianship. It takes a lot of work, and it's not overnight.
is good, everybody? This is Shawnee Marshall from Fretsisters. Make sure you hit that follow button here on Anchor so you'll get notified when our newest episode will be premiered.
I was comparing her work ethic from her past tours to this one, and before she had kids, she'd been like working nonstop, like making her workers nonstop. Like they can't even go to the bathroom unless she goes in the bathroom.
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It was from her past tour, though. It was from her past tour. They had like behind the scenes on some of her past tours.
Oh, wow.
And they was like doing dance rehearsals. They didn't have barely no breaks. And it's like they were working nonstop. And then comparing to the behind the scenes to Homecoming, like, oh yeah, there is some breaks. She has some time. Okay, I need to take a break. I need to put my kids in bed. I need to do this. So now she's just now putting her mom work into her work ethic. It's like, oh, I need to take a break, and learning how to balance that between her work and being a mom.
And being a mom. Yeah. And a wife.
Yeah. And another thing I can say about Beyonce is her branding and marketing is bar none the best that's out here right now.
Yep.
Yes.
She is the only person that can drop a video, an album, and like have no promo, and it still gets number one and stays there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, she's a brand.
Yeah.
She's a brand. And, she's also an actress. She's been in a few movies. And good movies.
And some of them are on Netflix too. Just let you know that.
But the thing with Beyonce, is this like a phenomenon that only happens like every era of the Beatles, Michael, Prince, the Beyoncés, or is this something that other people can attain and achieve?
Like I just mentioned,
Probably.
Michael Jackson's Thriller album was a phenomenon.
It was.
Right? Prince,
broke that record too.
Prince, unbelievable. Beyonce, amazing. And there are others, of course, but like I said, currently right now, the biggest thing happening is BTS. They are big.
Okay.
They are big. They are big.
I'll tell you though, when you think about like the icons and the greatest entertainers of all, and you have those choices, like of course Michael Jackson, Prince, even Whitney Houston. Like you talk about who is up there as far as legendary, and then you look at Beyonce and you're like, well, is she the generation's icon, or is she all time? I think she's all time. Like I think she's up there with Michael Jackson and Prince and all the legends, all the icons. I mean, because people can say, oh yeah, she's the world entertainer of this generation, but I say of all time, because when, just like somebody mentioned, her concerts and just her work ethic and just her shows before Coachella and stuff, like, I mean, I'm not a big Beyonce fan, but I respect her grind, and I only know her music from playing in cover bands, really. But when I saw Coachella, when I saw the snippets of Coachella, I was like, damn, this girl, I'm telling you, she is Superwoman. Like I was like, wow. But then like after that, when she did the tour, the OTR tour, and stuff, and I was seeing snippets of that, and I was like, okay, that's it. This lady is the greatest of all time. Like she is that's it.
She's an entertainer, for sure.
She made her mark. She's pretty much in history. Yeah. She's pretty much there. Like already carved in stone that she is part of history.
But I'm saying, like, go ahead, Karen.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You remember this too, ladies. She's a woman, and she's the only woman in that category. There are no other women right now or in the past 20 years in her category.
Madonna.
Now, we would have to
Madonna, I'd say is like
Madonna was up there.
I was going to say, but Madonna was the 80s, all right? And then,
I was thinking Janet Jackson.
And then, Janet's great too. Janet had her time in the 90s, as far as women are concerned. Aretha Franklin, the 60s.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone has their era, their big
era.
person.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like for right now, it's Beyonce. Like you had the Monkees, you had the Beatles. That was the 50s and 60s. Moved into the 70s. Then you had Hendrix, the 80s. Then we got the Michael, the Princes, the James Browns, and all that. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, you had the Beatles. I think the Beatles were in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
And again, I have to say, what took over from them, although they don't write, is BTS. Look at their hair. Look at what they did. They're selling out stadiums. I was reading a lady that was back, went to like the Beatles or was able to see the Beatles, and I think it was 64. And she said, wow, this is a phenomenon because this is happening again. It's like the British invasion, but it's the Korean invasion. But back to Beyonce, amazing. She's just a perfectionist. And that's what I think. She's a perfectionist at everything she does. It has to be perfect. I saw that in Michael Jackson. Now, the difference with Beyonce and Prince played all his instruments. I think he played 27 instruments.
That's why he's a little higher to me, because he actually plays.
Well, see, he's different because he's a musician and a singer, and he did his choreography, and he wrote his music.
Exactly.
So that he was a one, he did everything. Yeah. Whereas Michael Jackson didn't write all of his music, but his choreography is unbelievable. I mean, he was a genius, and I think Beyonce is a genius as well. Stevie Wonder, another genius.
Yeah.
So Prince. So you have these people that they have their mark in time, and she's still doing it, and it's amazing. And it's been at least 20 years with her. I think she started probably in the early 90s when she was a teenager with Destiny's Child.
But yes, but one thing I do notice, like with all these people who are musical geniuses, where it's just like you can't see them doing anything else. They were just born to entertain. They, don't take this the wrong way, but they're a little off. They're a little to the left. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they're so honed in. It's like you have your Princes, your Michaels, your Beatles. And they like her, she's very elusive. You don't know what's going on in her life. You don't know anything. The same with the other people. They were very introverted out the stage. You know what I mean? It's not on the stage, something like a switch comes on, they're a totally different person. All of them have that kind of little to the left kind of personality, if that makes sense.
I think
she has it.
I think they're driven and just like Aretha Franklin said in an interview, she said that's what all she wants to do is sing and perform. And she went for that. She didn't get the day job. You know, she sacrificed and whatever it took. And that's not only unique to musicians, that's other things, other occupations in life. Yeah. But I think it's you have to have the talent, but you must be driven. You have to practice. It has to be relentless that you practice day in and day out. People just don't walk out their house and they're just great. Even the best, they're practicing minimum of 8 to 15 hours a day.
But I think some people do have an advantage. Some people do have an advantage. Like Beyonce, she naturally has a stage presence. She naturally is musical. Prince, Michael, they had that. Some people have perfect pitch. Some people just hear music. And there's some people have to work at that, but they're still just as great. You know what I'm saying? Some people do have advantage, and that's not only with music, that's in everything. Like Tiger, he just like he came out with a golf club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you notice that all of these people we just mentioned, they're supported home. Their parents. Their parents supported them.
That's very true. That's very true.
And exactly. And they were able to keep their studies in their school and play and practice relentlessly. I mean, since they were children, they didn't come out at 25 years old and start. They were already They were 5 and 6 years old, 7, 10.
The foundation is important,
right? So having a supportive family, and Beyonce's dad and mom, Michael Jackson. We already know about Joe Jackson and how he had those young boys just practice day in and day out. Prince practiced when he was a little boy. He taught himself 27 instruments. Yeah, at least 27, 26, 27. So. That's and he would say that he would practice. He wouldn't even go to sleep. He wouldn't even eat. He would be in the studio for like 2 days without food, just practicing. So that when you say, Nicole, about that dedication or that being a little to the left, that's just, oh my goodness, that's just in there, just practicing until perfect,
right?
And don't even care about eating. or
That's what I'm
drinking
saying.
water.
Everyone doesn't have. That's what I'm saying. It's a little to the left. Everyone doesn't have that. Even though they can be a good musician or a good, I don't know, fruit stacker, whatever you want to be.
Right.
Everyone doesn't have that in them to go like, I'm not going to eat until I get this. I'm not.
Well,
going to eat until I get
it's
this.
a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice. You're
a sacrifice.
sacrificing going out to play with the other kids. You're sacrificing going on vacation. You're in the house day in and day out, just practicing until perfect. And that's what it takes. And that goes back to any musician or any dancer or actress, actor, artist.
Right.
That's
So,
what it takes.
The one thing that I read about her Coachella performance was that pretty much she set the bar really high when it comes to putting on a Coachella performance. Because first of all, what she was envisioning was HBCUs, right?
Right.
This was her thing, and she wanted to bring Black culture, pretty much out for this. Yeah, in the main front. Yeah. So a lot of, I think, like, even I read that some people were saying, no, this isn't going to work. Like, Coachella's a different audience. They're not going to understand. And she's like, they're going to understand.
Yeah.
And they're going to accept it. So the fact is her working 6 months prior to this just for a Coachella show. No other band did that. Like no other, no other headliner. Like, okay, yeah, she's the first, Black artist, female artist to headline at Coachella, but nobody who's headlined has ever had anything huge like this. So she pretty much like set the bar like really high for like people after.
But listen, Jenny, you're right, Jenny. I mean, but Jenny, look at her budget. She has the funds. She has the budget where other artists do not have.
They don't have the budget for that.
They don't, because between her and her husband combined are almost net worth of $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so she has the capital to do it too.
But she's. Go ahead, Jenny.
Well, I'm just saying it's, even if she had the money to like pay all these performers or whatever, you can still do something different. Like, it's not even that she like used like the whole stage and filled it up with people. It's just that she came out with, innovate like the concept of what she did.
That's what
that is different. If you can come out with 2-3 people and have something as huge as Beyonce, it's just being innovative, right?
It's being different. So, I mean, look at Baby
it's
Shark.
being different.
Just be different. Not everyone sees Baby Shark. It's, you know what I mean? It is like what Solange was supposed to headline, or at least be one of the headliners for Coachella this year, but she backed out because she couldn't find the right band. She's like, listen, I'm not going to do this unless I have the right band and the right people behind me.
Right.
And I think that's another thing. She has like, okay, my sister killed it last year. I'm not going to go out here halfway. Let me just drop out.
And Solange has some really good music.
Yeah, but
exactly.
She has I like her music.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, you can have great music, but you have to have a phenomenal show.
Yes.
It's all about the visual too. So Beyonce with the band, with the because it took me back to when I would go to the Grambling Morgan based football games. The black, their bands were amazing.
Yes.
Back in the day when I would go, my dad would take me, and the marching bands of all the black colleges were just awesome. They're awesome. So she took that concept. It reminded me of a Spike Lee movie. Remember he did?
Yeah, exactly.
A movie.
School Days.
School Days. Right. That was about the HBCU colleges.
Yes.
Pledging. Because remember, that was in her show too.
She had stepping and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If we're talking about her show, like the one thing that just blew my mind is the dance break that she had. That dance break.
Oh, the Everybody Man song.
Yeah. Look, that to me is genius. It's genius. It's like, you don't see much of that. And it's like right now you see a lot of artists copying that now. Right ever since Coachella, everybody's copying that where they have this little dance break. But I've never really, seen anything like to that, like the choreography on that, and well, the choreography overall was great, but that part, so powerful, man. I was just like, what? No, come on. Really?
That was my favorite part.
Yes.
I saw that. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I never wanted to go to a Beyonce concert. I saw Coachella. I went to the OTR. I went to the On the Run tour 2 last year. I was waiting. I was sitting on my hands till she came in there. I was up. I was waiting for this. Oh my God. Yeah, get to. I was waiting the whole show for her to do the dance break. I'm screaming. My cousin's like pulling on my shirt, like, please sit down. You're embarrassing me. Please sit down.
I'm telling you, man.
I tried to do that dance. I'm gonna be honest.
I want to do it.
That would be my workout for the day. I don't know.
I was like, you know, whoever like just said, oh yeah, like, was that her idea? Like, that's what I would have loved to see more in the scenes, documentary. Was like, who thought of that? Who thought of that dance break? Like, oh yeah, let me use this track. Yeah, let's do this dance break. That all of a sudden, like, you're like surprising everybody. Like, all of a sudden, like, everything calms down. You hear the music, and then bam, you do this dance break, and it's like nuts. It's like over the top, beautiful, like shit. You know? I'm like, what?
And you know what I enjoyed? That she reached back and she got, you know, Michelle and Kelly, and she brought her sister.
Oh yeah,
so that was her time to shine. And she's like, listen, I still wouldn't be here without these originals. Let me bring out Kelly and Michelle. We're gonna do our thing too. You know what I mean? Just even do that to share some of her shine was awesome to me.
She definitely puts on an amazing show. It's not just about the music. It's about the show, the costumes. You know, of course, she dressed in the Egyptian style and Greek costume. The bands, everything it was about the visual to me more than the vocals or her music. It was more about the music and the choreography, of course, the costumes and the bands, which were men and women playing violins and trumpets and saxophones and the drums. I mean, it was just amazing. So it was more visual. Where I've gone to an Adele concert and she doesn't have any of that, and she sells out as well. But
she just stands there.
She just but she can sing and she writes her own music.
But
there's a different type of. She's a different type of artist. She writes her music. She just stands. She doesn't use all the electronics. The pianist is playing a grand piano. She's got a guitar player playing acoustic. So it's with her. It's not the visual. It's more about her vocals and what she wrote, what she writes, her music. So each artist, it's different. You know, it's. Now I know we're living in the visual because that's what people pay to see more than anything.
Yes.
If you're going to go to a concert where somebody's singing, well, that's more intimate, and you're in love with their vocals, like I did. Like I will say, I love Adele's music, and I wasn't looking for her to jump out of the sky or a band. No, she just sat there and sang for 2 hours. It was amazing. Beyonce, different. She's singing, dancing. She has the visuals. She has the amazing choreography. So that's more visual than it is about the music, and that's what my take on it.
But for me, what the difference is, like, from the Adeles, Beyoncés, and whoever, there are only 3 concerts that I've been to where it's over or that I left and I'm inspired to go create. I'm inspired to, like, okay, this is possible. And like, I love what she said at the end of her end of this Homecoming documentary, and she says, if my country ass can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And what it says is, like, we're elevating her, like, oh my goodness, this is Beyonce. She's saying, like, listen, I'm just a country girl. I work my ass off. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's what I think is missing. People put these people on a pedestal, like the Beyonce, the Princes, and all these people. They don't know, like you say, they're working their tails off behind the scenes. You can do it too. And I think that's what you get from her concert. Like, hey, I don't care what you want to do or what you want to be. If I can do it, come on, let's do it.
All of us are musicians. On average, we're probably in the studio no more than 4 hours, and of course, we practice at home. Their band, her girl band, they were in the studio 12, 15 hours a day.
Yeah,
for the 4 days straight, just for one show.
Yeah,
so it takes time, and it's got to be perfect. No mess ups. Everything has to be perfect.
Well, my overall take on just seeing this and actually like understanding like what she went through as far as like being a mom, being an entertainer, and being a singer, being a dancer, whatever, and her vision was that it just goes to prove, and I know Sean, you can feel me on this, that women who give birth, like after you give birth to a baby or babies, which I've done it 3 times, you realize how strong and like you realize that you are superwoman. Like you are. Like when I first gave birth, I was like, oh my gosh, I gave birth to a living thing. And here I am doing my thing, you know? I mean, I like played until I gave birth. And then, but seriously, like I would have to take like at least 3 or 4 weeks off, where I see some of these women that give birth, like seeing Beyonce give birth and then automatically go like a week later to like do stuff. I'm telling you, man, if you've given birth, you know what it takes, like, you know, the toll it takes on your body. But it makes you so much stronger. I'm telling you. And when I saw Beyonce and she was talking about her kids and giving birth and the babies and everything, I was like, girl, I'm with you. Like you've just proven that we are strong. Like we are.
We'll
like
run the world.
I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Women are strong because we fucking give birth. I mean, I'm sorry. We produce you. Like,
That's right. She even
you know what I mean?
Yeah, she even said, you know, there was one part of her interview, she almost like doubted herself and she pushed herself, but she was like, oh man, this is going to be so hard. I just gave birth to twins, you know, the weight, getting back in shape. She was like, I got to, I got to do this. And you could see from her expressions on her face, like, this is going to be tough, but I'm going to do it. But it was tough for her. It wasn't easy. It was hard work nonstop from what, a half a year? Oh my God.
Pretty much.
And I feel that I think a lot of women that do give birth go through that all the time. Like we all go through that, and we all like, can we do this? Self-doubt. I mean, that's why there's like, you know, what do they call it? Post-traumatic.
Depression.
Yeah, postpartum depression and all that. I mean, some women, you know, really do feel that. I mean, it's just, but it goes to prove that, you know, you fight through those feelings, you know. I mean, because once you give birth, it's tough. It is tough after you give birth. I mean, I don't know, Sharon, if you want to speak on it, but I know that for me, it was like, wow. The first time I gave birth, I was like, wow. Because I was always like, yeah, I can handle it. Like, wow, I had a great pregnancy for all 3 of them. But after birth, my gosh, it was like, I mean, I listened to, you know, like taking it to Cardi B, who had the baby, and she talked about the after birth. You know, I feel that. I totally feel that, because I had those same feelings. I thought I was a strong woman and I would be able to handle it. But after birth, I was like, wow.
Yeah, you're right. Because Cardi B said she was pregnant, she couldn't breathe, and she couldn't sleep, and she was in the studio. My pregnancy went well, though. That's the thing. It was after giving birth. Nobody tells you about after.
Rebuilding your body, rebuilding everything. That's
right, Sean?
It's a mess. It's a mess. You actually get to see your placenta. Well, I can't even pronounce it. Placenta. Yeah, taken out of you, and it was in a bucket. I'm like, what the heck? That was inside of me.
Yeah, yeah. It's that. It's like if you give natural birth, which she had a C-section. I guess Beyonce had a C-section, but even a C-section is actually, a C-section is worse from what I hear than giving natural birth. Natural birth, they cut you down there. Sometimes they'll cut you down there to open you up, and then they sew you up. And look, they sew you up, and you're like walking for like a week with that shit. And you got ice packs like ice packs, like because you're swollen down because you just gave birth.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have this entertainer.
It felt like my woo-ha was on fire.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And,
Like,
Yeah.
I mean TMI, but I mean that's how it is. Nobody told me about like me having to go to the bathroom and stuff like that, having to deal with that kind of stuff. Like nobody tells you. I'm like, why isn't there anything out there that talks about the afterbirth? Everybody talks about pregnancy. I didn't get sick. It was fun times. I maybe had the flu once, which I never get sick, but I was like, I never had a problem. But man, afterwards, woo!
And just imagine going through all that stitches, swollen of ice, and then you have to dance to Crazy in Love.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And
I just feel like I be troubling all over, my uterus all over the place. I'm not gonna do that.
You know,
They do that.
yeah, your bottom was about to fall out. You had to sing "Who Run the World's Girls." Like, listen, I don't want to be a girl right now. I just want to sit down.
Look,
Let me just
right.
relax.
And
When they showed,
right. And
when
she
they-
looked like
when
she
they-
lost at least 40 or 50 pounds.
oh yeah, her body was
I
banging.
mean, her body was tight. I mean, 40 or 50 pounds in 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of weight.
Yeah,
That's a lot
Yeah.
of weight. She was
And that's
losing. She
go
was
ahead.
losing like 10 pounds a month, but it's harder because she just gave birth to twins. So it's not like
Yeah,
she
to
said, "Oh, she
twins."
jumped right out and I'm going to the gym right away." She had to heal.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Another one of the quotes. Like, I love the quotes in between, behind the scenes.
yeah,
I
I
really
love
wish.
those.
I really wish Dr. Miller was more behind the scenes. But one of the quotes I really love that I say myself, and I tell cousins and make it whatever. She was like, I'm paraphrasing, but you have to see it before you see it. So I think even when she's doubting herself, even when she's healing and she doesn't want to be there, she has twins and she has to breastfeed. She's saying between takes.
Right.
You have to see it before you see it. She's already seen this full concert in her head. She's like, even though I'm doubting myself, I know I can do this. I've already seen it and it's going to happen.
Right.
That's how you have to look at it.
Yeah, she's amazing. I don't know what is her next concert or movie.
I think she's taking a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably taking a break because there's the Coachella, she's been on tour, so I think she's on break right now.
Yeah.
She's probably working because she, that Homecoming, she just inked a deal with Netflix where they just bought 3 more shows.
Oh, I heard that.
For 20
Yep, I heard
million a
that.
piece. So I doubt she's sitting up there, playing patty cake. She's probably right now moonwalking across the stage somewhere or something. She's
Yeah. Well, I heard something. Well, I know she dropped an album like pretty much like the live album, pretty much the next day or the same day. But I keep hearing about her dropping another album or something. Unless this is what they were talking about. I think she'll be dropping something else or.
But
I don't know.
Beyonce, you never know. Like she just
You never know.
You don't know nothing until it comes out.
I mean, to be honest, I forgot she had twins until this documentary. Until I went to the concert. Oh, she did have another.
Same here.
Right. It's like, when Janet Jackson was doing it, I was like, maybe she just had a baby at 50.
Yes, and she was back out there. Yes, Karen, back out there.
Look.
Yes.
I was like,
Look.
wow, Janet.
Look at Jenny. She's like looking.
Yeah, but I was thinking like women around that age, they usually don't be able to have kids anymore. But I think it's a different era, especially with Janet Jackson being around 50 and she's like pregnant and had a kid at her age. That's really a big blessing on that one, because usually women around that age, they can't have kids anymore. They be like on menopause.
Right. And Janet played Central Park, and she didn't dance like she used to. Of course not. She had her dancers, but she was still out there, lost all the weight. She was all over that stage. I'm like, didn't she just have a baby? And she's 50. And she just had a baby less than 6 months before the concert. I'm like, wow.
I know when you have babies older, like I think like 40 plus, then there's a higher chance of autism for the babies.
Well,
so the doctors always check, pretty much check you, check your stuff.
Now isn't Beyonce at least 40?
No, Beyonce
No.
is younger than me. So I think she's
mid-30s.
What is
in her
she?
mid-30s?
She's 37.
She's 30.
Is
Okay,
she
37.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's 37.
Wow.
She's gonna be
I thought she
38
was
this
younger.
year. Yeah.
I don't know
thought she
why I
was
thought she
younger.
was 40 because she's been out so long. I thought, okay, so she's 37.
Yeah, she started young. She started pretty young.
Right out of middle school, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like this whole thing, if you're not inspired to draw, I mean, whatever field you want to go into, this is inspirational to everyone. It shows you like you pretty much just do it. If it's something that you want to do, just stop talking about it and just do it. Work through the pain, work through the doubt, and just get it done.
Yeah,
just keep going.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Like it's gonna start like it has to start ugly before it gets pretty. That's what it's kind of like.
Yeah.
And she said that, Shorn, you're right. She said that's the problem with people. People don't want to rehearse. They don't want to go through the ugly parts. That's what she did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, because people can get discouraged or tired or you got to work through failure. That's how you know about success.
What's good? This is Nicole Rose from Fretsisters. Please don't forget to follow us on IG at Fretsisters. You can also follow us on Facebook at Fretsisters1. And if you'd like to be featured in a podcast or simply have any questions, you can email us at fretsistersmusic@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for listening.
After watching this, has you all's opinion changed about Beyonce?
No.
Negative? Okay.
I've been following her since I think the 90s, and I've watched her evolve, and I think she's amazing, and I'm still a fan. So I've never been to any of her concerts, however, but
Her costume is expensive.
Her concerts are expensive.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. To me, I've never really, I've never really been into Beyonce, but I've always enjoyed watching her. Like if she's on an award show or like, just like pop culture. Like I follow her through pop culture. So I've always been like, all right, that's cool. I've always liked that. So for me, my opinion is that I just know that she's like that type of person. Like she's one of the greatest out there.
She is.
Like just my mindset. I think the way that she's approaching things now, like I want to find out more, like, how does she own the footage from Coachella? Like what was the deal there? Yeah. And what's the deal, like how she's doing this with Netflix, like all that business executive type decision type stuff. Like,
she's a good businesswoman too. Yeah.
That to me, like, I think back, like, I'm a big fan of I Love Lucy. Sorry.
So am I.
and I watch it all the time. And so I read about those two because they were like Beyonce in the sitcom era, or that kind of thing, because they were innovators, even though there were some, comedians or sitcoms, I guess, back in that day that did like the 2, 3, 4 cameras studios. They were really the first to come out with all that. And Desi Arnaz, he made sure that he owned that film.
Sure.
So that's why you see this stuff now. And that's why it's still perfect. Because it was the way that he had it shot in real film. So like, I think about that with Beyonce. It was like, okay, she did this Coachella thing. Like even before she decided the HBCU, she was like, this is, I want to make sure I own this footage, whether she owns it or not, or, because she could take it and sell it to Netflix. You know what I mean?
Did.
So
she did. She has the documentary of her concerts. Netflix is paying her millions.
Yeah, so it's just like those are business decisions that have to be made before, like years before. But I'm sure after she couldn't do Coachella the year before that, she was planning already. That year, she was like, I want to own the footage. I want to find out how I can do this. How much do I have to pay? How much is this going to cost? Like everything. Like, damn, girl.
I mean, nowadays you have to. If you see that post is going around about Apple, Tidal, Spotify, all this stuff, how much people actually get paid per play, you have to be a business person because you're getting like a penny per play. I mean, you have to get 1 million, even with 1 million streams, you may only get $10,000 from that million. You know what I mean? People, these musicians, artists are getting robbed. So you have to have that business mind. And that's what she said. I want to know how her mind works. How does she?
Yes, I do, man.
Yeah,
I do. I was hoping that would be, I can understand why she didn't do this. This was more about the concert, which is fine. It was good to see it in nice, good quality and stuff. But man, I would love to see the behind the scenes and see her thought process, and even like the process of putting a show like that together. That's amazing. That stuff is really interesting to me.
But hey, she has some more, so you never know.
Yeah, but her and her husband, Jay-Z, they're business people, and they know how, with contracts and how to have ownership of your masters, your publishing. See, that's key to keep everything so you don't have to split it with other companies or other people. So they own they own that footage. And that's why she's able to use it for the documentary. And plus with Netflix, I mean, she's, both of them are smart business people. They're a brand. Yes, she's an artist, but she's a brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that I want to learn. I'm really getting into branding and marketing right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm loving studying this. Like, how do some people get to this level and some don't? They can be just as talented, but they don't quite get the leg up. And so branding and marketing. Go ahead.
Well, you should read, just with you saying that, Nicole, about the branding and stuff. You should read about, it's an old article. I'll try to look for it, but it's an article about how Kelly Clarkson rebranded herself because she was the winner of American Idol.
Yeah,
right.
So I was looking up like how she rebranded herself because she was an American Idol winner, but kind of get away from that and be like her own artist. And she hired a PR firm, a well-known PR firm, I think called The Firm, to brand her differently. And the way that they actually did that to like not really strike out that she was an American Idol winner, but more like making her own artist, which I mean, if you look at her career, the way, I mean, that one album that just kind of made charts, that pretty much topped the charts and pretty much made her own person. The same with Carrie Underwood. Like I would love to have that with Beyonce. Like who's your publicist? Who's your PR person? Who's your creative person? Like who's coming up with these? I'm sure she's coming up with these ideas, but these artists don't just come up with these. They need somebody, a creative strategist.
They have a team. They have their legal team, their PR team. They have a team that work with them. And that's how they do it. And they make business deals. Like recently, I believe I heard a rumor that Beyonce turned down a deal with a sneaker company. Yeah. But that's what I heard. But I'm like, I don't know because
she did, Karen.
All right, she did. So was it? So a sneaker company, she turned it down. I rumor, allegedly, it was. I have to say allegedly, because of they lack diversity.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's what I heard. I hear from her. Allegedly.
Yeah, it's alleged. Yeah. It's alleged. But the thing is, if you look at Beyonce, even with this documentary and even with her formation, she's very into her culture. So, I mean, it could be a lie. It could be something that's, a lie that could be possible because she's so into her culture that she wants more diversity that she did leave. So, like you say, it is alleged. But, if you look at her Instagram now, she's with a company that she's, supporting. And I think it's different than the one that she was going to be.
But where do we get that rumor from? Because I've never read it or heard her say that.
No, it was in some kind of news article, but you really can't trust,
Yeah, you can't, right? Because first of all, to me, that doesn't sound like her.
I don't know. I don't know what she would say or wouldn't say. All I know is who run the world, girls. That's all I know about right now. I don't know. But yeah, Karen, like you say, it's all alleged. But
yeah, I mean, I unless she says it herself, I don't believe it. I don't see her.
Well, yeah.
It just doesn't sound like her, to say, to even put that, she didn't do a press conference or she didn't tweet about it. It just, again, That's a rumor. I don't believe it until she says it.
But the thing is with Beyonce, she's never going to say anything. That's the part of her being in the loop and being, people wanted to know this, then the third. I mean, just look at this. We just saw her twin. She had them, a year and a half ago? Like, oh, she did have babies. We didn't even know what they were.
Yeah, we all forget. We all forgot.
Well, I think children with these celebrities, they shouldn't have to take pictures and videos with their children.
Yeah.
No. I don't think that's appropriate.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying,
I think you just have to keep those private moments with your children private.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it's completely nobody's business. What are they doing outside the stage, unless it's their permission? But I think it's really like a moment, like special moments like that with your children. I think they should keep that private.
They should.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a documentary that's different. But even Pink, she doesn't do videos with her kids.
She doesn't anymore.
Not anymore.
She doesn't anymore. Yep.
Because of what happened with her last post, and she did speak on that. She spoke on this on the Ellen show. She said she loves posting her kids. She will always post them. There's one pic that I liked that she took down and she had an issue with some of her fans, maybe not her fans, talking about that pic, and she said she would never post her children again.
But, I mean, that's what's going to happen if you post anything on social media. You're going to get that. You're going to get it. So if you're going to do it, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Good or bad. So it just depends. Pink decides, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore because I don't like it.
Do any of you play any Beyonce songs, or have you played them in gigs or anything?
I play so much Beyonce.
Okay.
Every band I play in wants to do a Beyonce song.
Oh, wow.
I play
What's
Beyonce.
The main one you think that you have to learn? Or...
I've learned Crazy in Love. I mean, like from a song from each album.
Oh, wow.
Now my current rock band, we don't play it, but when I do acoustic, I do an acoustic Love on Top because of course I love it.
Right.
But I don't do any of her recent stuff only because I think the bands that I play in are more R&B jazz, so they hit most of her older stuff because it's more musical. The Love on Top acoustic I love because it's my own little arrangement that I did.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm
actually playing it tomorrow. I have a festival to play, and we do an arrangement with Crazy in Love because that was a popular one. Single Ladies Crazy in Love. It's a few years old, but that's dance music, and I'm playing Crazy in Love. But we mix that with our arrangements with Crazy in Love and Crazy with CeeLo Green. So we mix those two together, and but every R&B band or wedding band or corporate band I play with, there's always at least one. I played Love on Top a couple of weeks ago. I do at least one or two Beyonce songs, and they're fun to play.
Well, I did a video. I Care. I was just messing around with it.
Yeah, I forgot about that song.
I was messing around with that. And I did Dangerously in Love. I was teaching somebody how to play that song.
That's a song that I haven't played in ages. But like that era of her music, I think was more melodic. I don't know. It just seemed more melodic, more musical. I mean, again, I don't really listen to any of her stuff. I only know it from bands are like, you got to learn this. Like I'm sure everybody's going to take her Frankie Beverly and Maze arrangement now.
There's a challenge. There's a challenge.
We do her version of that song.
What did you say?
There's a challenge of her song on IG right now. It's the Beyonce challenge of that Frankie Beverly. So everybody has a song, a dance, or something, and they're all
really?
Yes.
Everybody doing dance numbers with that right now. Yeah, for real.
It's a challenge.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's great.
One band think about doing a guitar challenge with that song. Is that that probably might be the next challenge?
It should be. But
I know. Yeah, I know that. I know the Frankie Beverly. I mean, every guitarist knows Frankie Beverly.
What's this? I may have played. What's the song that I have not seen it.
It's Before I Let Go.
Oh, everybody plays that, and it's not one of my favorite songs.
But no, they mix it with
It's just played so much, and I go, okay, I need to do something else. But
they mix it with what do they mix it with? What does she mix it
I
with?
can't
Some
think.
old
I
funk
can't
song
think.
that
Yeah.
dump dump
Yeah.
dump
I can't think
dump
of it.
dump dump dump
Yeah,
dump
that's it.
dump
That's
dump
it. Candy. That's
dump.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's by that's Candy by Cameo.
Yeah.
Was it
It
Cameo?
is.
Okay, I don't know, but I'm like, oh.
It's Candy by Cameo that
it
it's
is.
used with. You know what song I did with another band when it was a award show. Her, Ed Sheeran, and Gary Clark Jr. They were paying tribute to Stevie Wonder, and it was a medley, and I played that one, and it was great for her doing that one. That's my favorite tribute medley that she did for Stevie on one of the award shows. I'm not sure if it was the Grammys or AMAs, but yeah, that was great. And she collaborated with Ed Sheeran and I think somebody else and Gary Clark Jr. And it was really nice. So I like that arrangement. I like her arrangements, but I haven't seen the latest one with the Frankie Beverly / Cameo. Because Cameo, that song Candy, I played that. That must be like an 80s tune.
It's old.
But it's popular. It still has that funk drive to it.
Frankie Beverly just said he put a post up talking about thanking Beyonce or something because he's got a spike because of her. So
Yeah.
Of course.
That's what happens, right?
That's what happens. You get Beyonce to do any of your music, and then the next thing you know, people are streaming your music. That's like you put out a book, and then Oprah Winfrey says, "Hey, I read your book today." And then it's on the bestseller list. You know.
Exactly.
That's how it is. You know, they endorse you.
Yep.
Or she endorses you.
So anyways, basically a lot came out of this, watching her documentary, but even just talking about her, just because she's pretty much made a mark in the music industry.
Absolutely.
And definitely a huge inspiration on women. Just what Fretsisters is all about. We're all about the message, putting that message out, creating a movement. It's just good to see stuff like this. Stuff like Beyonce or anybody. I mean, my next target right now is looking at Madonna at the Billboard Music Awards because I'm like, she's what, 60 or something?
Yeah. At least.
I mean, she's got grind, so
Oh yeah.
So
in her era, she was like a Beyonce in her era. She wrote some of her music. She was a choreographer.
Yeah,
anyway,
she was
a dancer and choreographer.
I think she wrote.
That's what I said earlier. She wrote a lot of her music, and she had
she wrote all her music.
Vogue, and then she had the documentary of her, like those that was black and white. Remember, she was an actress.
Yeah.
So she did a lot from like 82, and she's still popping at 60, 61, 62.
At 60 something years, and she's in great shape. She has.
Yeah, she do not look her age at all.
Who else looks good?
To her.
You know who else looks phenomenal is J-Lo, Jenny from the Block from the
50. She's 50.
Oh my God.
My girl crush. She's my girl crush.
Listen,
she's my
a dancer, choreographer, actress.
I
writes
love
music.
her.
She sings. She does everything.
She's Latina.
And she's Latina.
Yeah, get it. Jenny got the Latinas in there.
And she has a new show.
Shout out to my Latina community.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's another one I admire. That drive, the zeal.
Yeah.
Practice all the time. And Jennifer Lopez, like I said, she does a movie or she's in TV every year. And she's dancing. Did she choreograph? Oh no, that was another one. I was going to say Janet Jackson, but that was
Paula Abdul.
That's Paula Abdul. Yeah, right. And they're going to do a reboot of In Living Color, and that's where she came from. She was one of the
Yay!
Yep. Oh wow!
Yeah,
we
J-Lo.
I knew someone was going to say that. I was going to say that, but I was like, thank you. Someone else said it. I was like, I don't want to hold this too long.
Right.
She's another one. There's a lot of women in the business in every decade we can admire and pay homage to, but definitely Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Madonna, Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, Janet Jackson. We can go on. There's so many.
There's so many.
There's a lot of women we could pay homage to that were forgotten, or we don't talk about. But we have the ones that are really great and the ones that were great in their time. right now, Beyonce owns it all. Again, so does J-Lo, but in a different way.
No, J-Lo's not up there with Beyonce. Not in my opinion. Not in my opinion. But.
See, they're two different. They do two different things. I'm gonna say don't sleep on Jennifer Lopez.
I'm not sleeping on her. I mean, she does what she does.
Yeah, but see, Beyonce is a performer, where
so is J-Lo.
J-Lo's behind the scenes.
I mean,
J-Lo's a performer. She had a residency in Vegas for years. That girl performs her tail off.
Right, but she also does. She's behind the scenes producing. So you may not see her on tour, on a concert. No, she's in a movie every year. She's producing. She's writing. So just check out. I mean, it's a different capacity.
I mean, I understand where Nicole's coming from though, because I feel like J-Lo is up there, but when you talk about the world, like I'm going back to the world entertainers, the one that made a mark. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about icons, like Jennifer Lopez is almost there, but I feel like Beyonce is up there with like the icons.
She is.
Like when you see the list of who, like the historic icons, you know, I think Beyonce fits there. I mean, I'm not trying to be like, Beyonce, like, let's bow down to her. I'm just saying, what she's done.
Yeah. She's definitely an icon.
I mean, definitely like Madonna. Madonna's, I think, would fit in that category. Yeah. J-Lo, I feel like, she's done a lot, and she's got a resume, like, and her accomplishments definitely are big, but I don't see her yet in that category.
Like you can't put anybody in the same room with Michael Jackson, who was internationally amazing. Let's go back to the Beatles. If you read up on them, what they did with the first British invasion, their music is still being sold, and half of them are gone. Mm-hmm. They're still, And
you're saying Yesterday and Crazy in Love, and then you have Jenny from the Block. Something in there doesn't fit. I'm not.
Yeah.
I said again. I'm saying a different capacity, totally different. She's not Beyonce, the entertainer. She is an actress, a choreographer. See, she's the one you hired to do your choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyonce is the brand. She's the act. Where Jennifer Lopez was a dancer. She was a dancer first. She's not even a singer. So Madonna's not a singer either. Madonna was a dancer. She's not a singer. Neither is Janet Jackson. They're not singers. They're entertainers.
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
A singer.
That's the difference.
There's a difference. Beyonce's a singer. Just like, you know what? Did you girls ever see this interview with Aretha Franklin? They asked her. He asked her, "What do you think about?"
I saw that.
Yeah, she's Adele, great singer, nice person, great writer.
What do you think of Janet? Oh, great entertainer. What great? She knows how to break everything down.
Well, Janet is Janet Jackson. She's from that brand. But Janet, I don't think she's a great actress. But she's in movies and she's on TV. But she's a great entertainer more than a vocalist. That's trying to compare a great singer to somebody you can't compare. Beyonce is also a great singer. She's a great vocalist. J-Lo can't sing, not in my opinion. I mean, she could Waiting for Tonight, she could do a little pop stuff, but that's not her forte. Her forte is dancing and being a choreographer. That's her. That's what she does.
But I feel you on that, Karen. It's like one of my top favorite people in the world. I've seen her twice. She was actually my first concert I ever went to. Was Tina Turner. She's an entertainer. Fills up stadiums. She's not the best singer, but you can't tell. There's not one person. She can get up there with Beyonce in her prime and take the spotlight from her. Because she's a good entertainer.
Tina Turner, again, we're going back to the 60s, and that was a different time.
She's still popping in 2000. Early 2000s.
But let's look at Cher, for instance. Cher's on Broadway again. Cher's, almost 80?
No, she's
Jesus.
No, she's 72, I think. 72.
Okay. 80. I'm like,
oh my God. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm thinking about Barbara Streisand.
No, listen, Barbara's my girl. You got Barbara Streisand, Sharon Bette Midler. They're all 72, 73, around in there.
Okay.
Those
And
are
so
those
is Tina Turner up there in the 70s. Okay.
Tina Turner's 81.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somewhere around
And,
in there.
and she looks great.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
I don't know
Turner,
what they have.
that was a whole different
I'm not
time.
cracking. Can I have that potion, whatever they use?
Exactly, Sean. Exactly.
Yeah,
Tina Turner's an icon as well. Tina Turner.
Yeah.
an
Oh, she's
icon.
an icon. Yeah.
Aretha
I agree
Franklin.
with that.
Aretha Franklin, icon.
Is an icon.
Okay.
I think, like, again, like Prince, Michael Jackson, I pretty much see them as like the top, like the top entertainers. I feel like Beyonce could fit in that, could be part of that, because some people are like, well, they don't belong in that space. But I feel like Beyonce can belong, can
I think she
fit in
belongs
that
in that
space.
top 3, top 5,
Yeah.
at least top 5.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, for me, my top one as an icon was Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, he was the 60s, and he only lived in fame for 3 years. People think he had a long history. He didn't. He was only out
Was
for
he
3
one of the
years.
27, Karen? Was
He
one of the
died.
ones
Yeah,
that
he was in the-
27?
Remember,
27 Club.
Yeah,
yeah,
27
but he
club,
was
okay.
only out for a few years, pretty much like the Doors, Morrison, and Janis Joplin, and now we have, of course, the
Amy
young lady
Winehouse.
I was going to say Amy Winehouse. Yeah, but I'm a
Oh,
guitar
and Kurt
player, so-
Don't forget
He was
Kurt
27
Cobain.
club
Kurt
too.
Cobain as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, my number one, when I was young, he was gone, but what he did for guitar players and to be a man of color, to be black, to play it, when you hear Jimi Hendrix, you don't say, okay, I'm going to listen to rock. No, his brand is Hendrix. His music is Hendrix music. It's not rock. It's not, it's blues, it's rock, it's everything. So he's like my number one. I think second for me would be Michael Jackson, and then Prince, and then Glenn Campbell, one of my favorite guitar players as a kid. The country music.
I think it's, like for me, like Jimi Hendrix and stuff, to me, he falls in a guitar.
Yeah, he's a guitar
idol. Yeah. The guitar idol kind of like.
But he was an entertainer as well.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't around when he was around.
No, I wasn't either.
I know, like, as far as innovator, as far as a guitarist and stuff. But we're like talking about like the all-time entertainer.
That's
you know what I mean?
all-time,
like,
so we can't say that's her all time.
yeah,
like
that's
I said-
fine. That's fine. I mean,
No,
I'm not saying it's not wrong.
Yeah, another iconic group that I find that are great writers were the Beatles, McCartney and Lennon.
See, I don't like the Beatles at all. I don't like the Beatles.
I love their songwriting is great.
They were overrated to me. I'm like, what is the deal with this? Why is everyone screaming and baiting? They sound, what's the deal? But hey, I mean, everyone likes what they like.
You know what though, Nicole, you should listen though. I know, like they have hits like back in the 50s or 60s. I don't know when they started.
I think they started
like,
in the 60s.
But if you go to their later years where they did drugs, I guess the drugs.
After
I think it was like the 70s, right?
In the experimental years.
Listen to Abbey Road and the White Album.
Yeah.
To me, those are the best. That's the best music. That's where, like, I think Blackbird came out of that.
Yep.
Helter Skelter.
Listen,
Abbey Road.
The song Yesterday.
The Beatles. I work with someone who loves.
Well, Yesterday was old. Yesterday's
right,
old.
but Eleanor Rigby.
I'm talking about. Those are old. Those are old. I'm telling Nicole to listen to those more when they were like, more like in the mainstream.
Right.
I mean, they were in the mainstream back then, but like when their stuff was more, I don't know, like the White Album and Abbey Road, they were like their music, like the songwriting is
They're
like
amazing. They're so
amazing. I mean, their songwriting's amazing before, but I'm saying more like I think you would probably
No, Jenny, listen,
feel
I
more.
want you to hear me. I worked with someone who loved the Beatles. It was like a young black guy I worked with, which you wouldn't think he looked like, hip hop and ever. He'd come in with a Beatles show, like Beatles. He's like, oh my, you don't know what the Beatles? Oh my goodness. So he let me borrow. I mean, Did
you hear the White Album?
Yes, he gave me every album, everything, and was an anthology. Wrote everything down. He said, listen to this one, listen to everything. I spent a whole month immersed in the Beatles. I brought everything back, and I said, man, this is trash.
okay.
Okay, I'm telling you, the songs from the White Album. You got got Birthday, Sexy Sadie, Helter Skelter. I mean, those songs.
I've heard
I think
all of it.
I think
I can't
I'm
get
like
into their sound. I can't get into. I shouldn't say it's trash. I mean, to me, I don't like it. I can't get into their sound, their voices. I don't care how good the lyrics are. Their voices and their sound, I can't get past it.
Then I feel like those two albums are the ones that are most current to like the younger generation. Like people
just saying their name, I'm always going. I'm almost like in REM sleep. I'm like rolling back. I'm like, this is boring. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I understand. But I'm just like, wow, really? Yeah. I mean, Come Together came from Abbey Road.
That's a great song.
Here comes the sun.
I play Here Comes the Sun.
I want you. She's so heavy. I Want You, She's So Heavy is
like,
so
no,
darling.
Oh man.
I know the songs.
Like that stuff. Oh my gosh.
I know the songs, and if when someone else covers them or does them, I'm like, oh, I like that. What is that? They're like, this is the Beatles. I'm like, oh, I like your version better. Like, I can't listen to the Beatles. I can't.
That's cool though.
Well, I think that's my opinion. I think they were great songwriters.
They were.
You don't have to like their music. I just respect you got to respect their songwriting. They millions of people wouldn't love them, and they wouldn't sustain 50 years, at least 50 years, and people still play their music. How hard is it how good do you have to be for after 50 years people still playing your music?
I'm not doubting. My thing is, if like the Sarah Vaughn's and all these people that do the covers, I like them doing it. I cannot get into the Beatles. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, Shaka Khan, Adele, all of them. Even Beyonce covers the Beatles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't like the Beatles. The songs, maybe.
Yeah, leave her alone. She doesn't like the Beatles.
Yeah, they're like, you're gonna like it for 900 years. People,
we gonna make you like
it. You're gonna like it.
So Nicole, when you play guitar? Who do you play in your sets?
Wait. What happened to Beyonce?
Exactly.
Do you play any? Did you ask? I know Jenny and I play Beyonce. Sean, do you play any Beyonce tunes?
I did a video on Instagram with I Care, and I talked.
She did.
Yeah.
And I talked about my Love. Yeah.
Okay, and Nicole, what Beyonce tunes do you play? What's your favorite?
I don't play any Beyonce. I sing Beyonce. I don't play anything. I sing her songs.
Oh, you sing?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't play Beyonce. I don't want to sit down and like, let me figure out that Beyonce song, but I will sing it. Like I'll sing.
Okay.
Her. Yeah.
All right. So anyways, so let's conclude our talk about Beyonce. But I mean, seriously, this pretty much. The fact that talking about Beyonce was just amazing because it's basically the love of music, what she loved in her documentary to what kind of gave that to us, So we learned a lot from this. Let's conclude, right? Okay, yeah. So we'll definitely do some more talks about this because I think this is an ongoing topic about women making a difference, about the Beatles versus Jimi Hendrix, and but yeah. So just go ahead and see what everybody has going on. If you all can like say how you can follow you, let everybody know where we can follow you. I'll start first. I'm Jenny Jam with a G, Genny, and you can hit me up on Instagram Jenny Jam, GENNYJAM, and you can get on my YouTube too. I have a lot of videos. I do Blackbird.
Boo.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. You do. Yeah.
Look, that's going to be our ongoing joke. We're going to talk about the Beatles.
And Jenny, let me just say this.
To make Nicole mad.
Hey, do you know Blackbird? The idea of it. They took
gosh.
JS Box. They took JS Box. This is McCartney talking. He took Beret. That I play that too. Beret by JS Box, and he was listening to that as for to write Blackbird.
You know what, Karen? I love the Beatles. I love
Okay. All right.
No. Listen. No.
So Sean, tell us where we can follow you.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, we can follow you.
You can find me on IG, Storm Music Official, and also follow me on my Facebook page, Storm Music, and my YouTube is Mickey92685. Yes, and stay tuned. The music video will be released next week.
Yay!
Yay!
Nice.
Look,
Great.
Nicole, what about you?
You can reach me at Nicole Rowe Music on IG, and as a lover of the Beatles, you will see all of their music on there. All right.
And what about you, Karen?
Right now, I'm on Facebook and IG, Karen Smith, on Instagram as well as Facebook right now.
All right.
I play with Soulify. I play with
What is that? Wait,
I said
I play with Soulify.
I was like, I was supposed to say I also did Blackbird too. Thank you, Jen, for the tabs.
Right, I play Blackbird on acoustic guitar. Yeah, it's great song.
I'm telling you, man.
And here comes the sun.
And here comes. I have that tabbed out too.
That was a great tune, yeah.
Anyways, all right. So cool. All right. So so be sure to hit us up on Fretsisters. That's at Fretsisters on IG and at Fretsisters1 on Facebook. Give us a comment. Talk to us. We'll be happy to talk to you. Hit us up on our social media. And let's have a good time and drink and
Awesome.
Listen to look and listen
Come
to
together,
music.
everybody. Just
Come together.
Right.
Look, I'm gonna say
If anybody needs to chart, I got it charted in G.
yeah,
G minor.
I have it charted in E minor. I played it in E minor. Look, Nicole. Come together, Michael Jackson version. That's what I play with my band.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
All right. That's it. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all. Bye.
Okay.
Hi, this is Karen Smith, one of the founders of the online community for ladies who play stringed instruments, as well as women in the music industry, Fretsisters. We host a weekly podcast on Anchor. If interested in interview, contact us through Facebook at Fretsisters and send us your videos on Instagram or YouTube. We look forward to hearing from you.